What's going on, guys? Oh man, I'm here. I'm over here talking to myself. Ugh. All right. I was having some technical difficulties there, but all right, we're here. We're here. So yeah, I'm over here talking to myself, thinking I'm streaming. I checked the broadcast. It's not even live yet. So all right, had to get it together. What's going on, y'all? So you see the title, you see the thumbnail. Let's get right into it, guys. I was watching a little bit of this video earlier today, and this is a topic that I've been wanting to touch on anyway. So I was like, okay, this is a topic that I need to touch on. And I haven't done a lot of reaction videos, but I thought two birds, one stone. Let's get a reaction video out of this, and let's go ahead and touch on a topic that I've been meaning to touch on. And that is, should voter ID laws be required to vote? Now, this is another one of those political controversial topics you might hear people talking about. So I wanted to just throw a perspective out there y'all probably haven't heard of before. A lot of times when they're talking about voter ID laws, they try to make it sound as though quote unquote people of color have difficulties getting ID, and that's why we have to make it illegal to require IDs to vote. That's the argument. Is people of color, quote unquote, people of color, the minority coalition is having difficulty getting IDs, and that's the reason we can't require IDs to vote. Now, some people are saying black people, foundational black Americans, don't have any problems getting ID. That is an excuse to allow illegal immigrants the right to vote. I've heard that. Some people say, well, it's not just about illegal immigration. What about poor people? Poor people really have difficulty getting IDs sometimes for whatever reason. We're going to break this down. We're going to break this down. There's a lot of different angles you can come at this one with. So I want to play this clip. I want to play this video. Recently, the famous Pet Patrick David from Valuetainment made a video, had a little panel with Candace Owens. Candace Owens was there and Chris Cuomo, and they were discussing this topic. So we're going to hear what they have to say, and I'm going to chime in and give y'all a new perspective you haven't heard. Without any further ado, I think we're all here. And by the way, guys, if I'm saying anything that y'all want to address, refute, or debate, feel free to hop in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Tell me if I'm saying anything that's wrong. Tell me if there's anything that you want to correct. All right. I'm going to cut this music. And we're going to get right into, not again. Now you know, these technical difficulties, man. Y'all bear with me because I just had this working a second ago. And this happens every time I go live, guys. Y'all gotta bear with me on this one. There we go. All right. Here we go. We're back. I want to make sure. All right. Here we go. Boom. No, maybe not. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. Now, come on now. I had this thing working 1 second ago, and don't you know, as soon as we go live, that's when the technical difficulties ensue. But we're going to get it together. One way or another, we're going to get it together. All right, here we go. We got it. We're going to keep it here. So to check out what Candace Owens has to say as far as whether or not ID should be required. Check this out.
because it's not about, you don't get an ID because you want to engage with government. You get an ID because you want to drive. You get an ID because you're 19 and you're 21 and you want to have your first drink. You get an ID because you quite literally need an ID to do so many things in society.
That's true.
So forget, you wouldn't say that people that are in a lower socioeconomic class are never drinking, are never driving, are never doing all of the other things that are required, never seeing a movie, like, that's above PG-16. You need an ID to do so much in life. So you're focusing, this is the lie. You're saying, well, they don't tend to vote. That might be true. That might definitely be true.
No, they don't tend to have IDs. That's not why they're
getting an ID. That's not why they're getting an ID. So
I understand.
All right. So here's the thing. And before, for full disclosure, just for clarity, to let y'all know where I'm coming from on this perspective, I myself am for requiring IDs. I think that IDs should be required for voting. But the more I hear the arguments coming from Candace Owens, the more she has me second guessing. Because here she's saying, well, I would need ID to buy alcohol. I need ID to drive my car. She's completely dismissing all of the homeless people who don't get to go buy a new car, who might have expired driver's license, who might have some difficulty renewing their ID for whatever reason. People will go through hardships. If you are involved, your house burns down, your documents are lost. Now, for full disclosure, again, I don't think that voting is something that is just a willy-nilly right that everyone should have without any type of proof. I am a supporter of, I do think that ID should be required. But to say that people don't have any difficulties or never have lost their IDs, that's a bit of an extreme position. It would be more, it's almost disingenuous to say that people have never lost their IDs or had difficulties replacing their IDs. It would be a better argument, or more fair, more honest, to just say, I don't care if you've lost your ID or not. This is a requirement. Deal with it. At least that's a position I could take, and I would support.
They're just lying.
I understand. I don't think it's a lie. It could be wrong. It could be a false.
Because she's outright saying it's a lie that people lose their IDs. No, people lose their IDs all the time. Just say you don't care.
Wrong, then it's a lie. If you keep saying it, if it's wrong and you keep saying it, it becomes a lie, right?
No, that's only
there's no black people that are not getting their IDs. I came from a low socioeconomic background. I got my driver's license when I was 16 years old because I wanted to drive and pick up my boyfriend.
I get it. And
those are the reasons people get IDs. That's simple. I love you too.
I get it. What I'm saying is,
you're probably wondering.
Hold on, guys. I gotta hide the commercial, so I'll be right back. And while we're dealing with that, guys, y'all go ahead, and if you are watching and if you're enjoying the show, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button, and if it's your first time watching, do me a personal favor and smash the subscribe button. Try to drop videos, content just like this with a perspective you might not have heard before. Without any further ado, let's get back into the video.
It is exactly what I'm saying it is, okay? The reason the big states don't have it is because of this argument, that they say that there is a disproportionate impact on people from lower socioeconomic rungs that do not get it. One, we do know for a fact that poor people that live in more populated areas drive at a much lower rate than other people, so maybe they don't have the license. That's the argument. I'm not saying you have to value the argument. The other argument is we need IDs for everything that we do. Why would we do this? The argument now to your question, which is...
now, one thing I'll say, in general, I'm not a big fan of Chris Cuomo, so it says a lot about Candace Owens that she's got me actually on the same side of Chris Cuomo. I don't know how she did it, especially when I've already been open and said I support voter ID laws. So the way that this has happened is kind of surprising. Let's continue with the video.
Why don't we do it online? Okay, so I ran with this idea. like 7 years ago, when we came out of the hanging Chad thing that allowed me to spend a great amount of my time in your state, in Jacksonville specifically, about the hanging Chads, the 2000 election and all. I was like, wow, this is such a stupid system. Why don't we just do this the way everything in my life is on here? Pay my mortgage. My money doesn't exist. Right? I mean, I don't have, I'm not my grandparents. I don't have 50 Savarin cans, which was an instant coffee, in my basement that has my savings in it. I don't put money under my mattress. I don't even know where it is. And I'm okay with that. But we can't vote. And I got crushed by all of these.
Now, that's an interesting point that he's raising here. He's saying, listen, everyone nowadays has cell phones. Why do we have to go in all the way once every 4 years or once every 2 years, what local elections, what have you? Why do we have to go in and wait in line at a physical location, regardless of the rain, the hail, the sleet, the snow? We have to show up at this place. You're not requiring IDs, so what's even the point? Can't I just log into an app and just cast my vote on an app? Anyone who's talking about the issues with mail-in ballots, anyone who's talking about the issues with IDs, requirement IDs, I don't see how you could promote online voting with all the cybersecurity threats that the nation is currently facing. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm a traditionalist. Let's go back to pen and paper. You go in, you write a name, and you drop it in the box. Let's go in with that. Let's require an ID. You go in, you show your ID. I'm a U.S. citizen. Here I am. Even a passport. A passport would even be better. Show up, show your passport, your U.S. passport, write down whatever name you know, throw it in the box. Let's keep it simple. Because when you start opening up talking about let's vote on our cell phones, those things are so easily hacked, not only by cybersecurity threats as far as individuals, kids in their basement, you've got to now worry about corporations and politicians. I'm talking about deep state people. You'd have to worry. You'd have to worry about foreign governments. Oh no. Oh no. There's so many holes and so many flaws in that idea. But I admire the outside the box thinking. Let's keep watching the video.
Security and intelligence people saying, oh, the fraud that would happen, the chance of fraud. And I said, but we have like the easiest system to beat in the world. The stat they hit me with was the voter ID states do not have better rates, or let's say lower rates of voter fraud than the states without ID. So it doesn't really make a difference.
That is the fraud. that is.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I ran with this. I believe in this. I believe that voting should be as easy and immediate as possible. I think that voting should not be one day. I think that voting, if it is going to be on that one day should be a vacation day for everybody in America so that they can go out and vote.
All right, now he's on to something. Now he's on to something. I agree that they make it so difficult. They make voting on a Tuesday. People have to go to work. They close at 3. People don't get off work until 5, 6 p.m. They do these things on purpose to make it as difficult as possible to get your voting done. They need to go ahead and just make it one national holiday. Listen, you got the day off. Do your civic duty. Go in and vote. Go in and vote. You got a free day off from work. Paid holiday. All right, you got a paid holiday. Go vote. That seems fair. Not only that, it doesn't need to be on a Tuesday. People have to drop their kids off. People have work. Why not a Saturday? Why not a Sunday? You're telling me this is the first time anyone's ever thought about this? I doubt it. These things are done intentionally. And it's easy for Chris Cuomo. I mean, he's a journalist. You would think that he would have his brother's a mayor. Why is it that the politicians, even on a local level, aren't discussing this? Those are the people that he should be having this conversation with. But, they'll get on TV instead of talking directly to his brother and getting this thing actually enacted. I digress. Let's watch some more.
I believe in early voting. I believe in online voting. I believe that we should have as many people voting as possible so we make it as easy as possible. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and you're not going to like it, but that's not my problem. It is not even this issue. It's not both sides of the aisle. The right, until voter ID, has consistently been against anything that would increase who votes.
Okay,
I think there are reasons for that. But I am in favor of this.
Can I ask you a yes or no?
Yes or no?
Ready? We'll play that game again?
Yes. Did I get it right?
Should Americans be required to?
Hold on, and I'm not going. I don't mean to cut her off. I didn't mean to cut her off. But there's something that I actually do need to address, and I almost let it slide. But the point that he just made was Republicans are usually the ones who try to restrict voting laws. That part that he said is true. And this is another reason why black folks, we're kind of stuck in the middle as far as Democrats and Republicans. Both of them mean us no good. And we really have nowhere to go for this reason. As he says, right now the Republicans are pushing voter ID laws. I'm fine with that. Voter ID laws is more so to address the illegal immigration because all of these non-documented migrants are coming into the country, and the Republicans, the right wingers, are afraid that they will be able to vote. Here's the issue I have with that theory is what undocumented workers do you know are going to go commit a crime by vote? You're telling me an undocumented worker, someone who's not a citizen, first of all, you have to be registered to vote. You don't need ID, but you do need voter registration. So an undocumented worker is going to break into someone's house in order to find a voter registration card. They're going to take this voter registration card, knowing it's not them, go into, usually voting is done like at a schoolhouse or a USPS, like a post office, something like that. They're going to go into a government subsidized building with a voter registration card that's not theirs for the effort of getting one vote off. One vote, all that effort for one vote. I don't think it's a lot of illegal immigrants coming over into the country saying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go steal somebody's voter registration card. You think illegal immigrants are sitting there reading the obituaries in the newspaper, trying to figure out who's died so that they can go take their voter registration card? It gets kind of nonsensical. I don't think that anyone's putting forth that effort to get one vote, which we all know one vote is not really going to influence the system that much. I don't think anyone's to break the law. You're going to commit a federal crime for one vote. I don't think undocumented migrants, illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call them, I don't think they're looking to do that. But the point that he makes stands because the Republicans do like to restrict people's voting, and that has to do more so with gerrymandering, where they organize the city maps. They organize the maps in such a way that all the black folks, their votes are decreased. They put them all into a pocket so that the white folks will be the majority in every situation. There's a lot of black people, instead of them having a pocket here where they can vote as a block, what they're going to do is they're going to incorporate part of that black pocket into the white community so that the whites will overpower the black vote there, and they'll do that in thirds or in fourths or in quarters in order to dilute the power of the black vote. Now we got a comment, shout out Michael Pan. What's going on, Michael? Democrats need migrants because black people are the savior for migrants. I don't know about the savior of migrants, but we're the savior of the Democratic Party. We have definitely for the past 50 years been the backbone of the Democratic Party, and they are doing nothing but undermining us at every turn. So, Mike, I appreciate your comment, bro. Stay in the conversation, man. I read all my comments. Let's watch a little bit more of this video and see what Candace Owens had to ask.
Has consistently been against anything that would increase who votes.
Okay,
and I think there are reasons for that. But I am in favor of this.
Can I ask you a yes or no?
Yes or no?
Ready? Can we play that game again?
Yes.
Should
I get it right?
Americans be required to have ID to vote? Chris, yes or no?
No. And I'll tell you why.
Wow.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Until I see fraud rates that go along with the distinction, I don't believe that you make a simple pitch. Then my answer is no. And my answer is no because I don't believe I don't believe you want the government having even more control over who can vote and who can't.
Okay, so okay, that's fine. I'm glad you're being honest.
Here's the thing about that. When he says he doesn't see the value, I would say if you have to say, do you think voter IDs should be required to vote? I would say, especially in a situation where voting is done by mail-in ballot, in that situation, yes, absolutely. Uh, ID, like a copy of the ID or a copy of the passport, should be included with the picture, should be included with voter registration. So everyone knows, if you're an American citizen, then you know that you will get mailed to your house an envelope asking, do you want to register to vote? And if you register, do you select uh, mail in ballots? You can select that as part of your voter registration. If you choose mail-in ballot, then absolutely you need to have ID, because, and I would go further. You need to have ID and two pictures of photo passports, like photo two passport sized photos, which within the last 6 months, to prove that you are, who you say you are, and that you're alive. Because people do legitimately die, and those mail-in ballots could keep getting mailed to your house, and anyone who's living in that household could theoretically mail in the ballot. That's a situation that I could see potentially happening, because it's a low threshold. There's a low barrier. There's a low threshold or wall preventing someone from just throwing someone who's died, their mail-in ballot, in with your own mail-in ballot. So instead of having one just yours, you have yours and your dead grandmother's. Right? I could see that happening. But as far as in-person voting, I just don't see someone taking a stolen ballot, because they only get one vote. So you're going to go break into someone's house. Where are you getting that ballot from, or that registration card? You have one ballot for one registration. So where is this illegal person getting the registration card? I still support the voter IDs, but I think it's less of an imperative. I think in situations where it's a mail-in ballot, 100% you need voter ID. And I would go further and say you need some type of photo, passport size photo, within the last 6 months. Because that's more realistic to me. But let's hear more of this conversation.
I just want to say, if you are a Black or Hispanic American, please find me the Black or Hispanic American who does not work, because you need an ID to get a W-T form, get set up, they ask you for your ID, who does not vote, who does not drink, who does not drive or drive somebody else's car.
I drive.
This person does not exist. That does not travel. You can't get on a plane without it. This person does not exist, okay?
They don't exist. All right, listen, I work, I drive, I do all that stuff. I have ID. But just because I do, how selfish could you be? I think Candace Owens lives in LA. You walk down LA, you don't see all these homeless people. Maybe someone lost their job. Maybe their house burned down. There's all types of people who don't have ID. Maybe their ID expired and they're sick. They have cancer. They're bedridden. They're pregnant. There's all types of situations where someone could have expired ID or have lost their wallet and don't have valid ID. To say that people don't have these experiences or don't have these situations, and it's a lie to say that someone doesn't have their ID, how could you be so extreme and so heartless? Surely there's someone out there who doesn't have a valid ID, whose ID has been lost or stolen or expired. Just say, we don't care, and you need ID regardless. If you go in to buy liquor, you need ID regardless. Whether you were lost your ID or not, you still need ID. Keep the same standard, but don't act like it doesn't happen. That's just disingenuous.
So it is the lie that they tell so that they can rig our elections by having a bunch of people who are not Americans coming in and voting. And where's
the proof that happens?
Everybody knows that, okay?
How can you know what we've never been shown? Where is the fraud? Where are the fake votes?
And the idea that any person will get up and say to you that they do not believe that you should have an ID to vote. I'm not even going to characterize what you just said.
But you backed it up by saying that we know that all these people vote who aren't supposed to. Where's the proof of that? We understand
the voting rolls. There's dead people on the voting rolls. And this has been proven
every time they measure this with billions and billions of vote checks. And anybody here or Magic Rob, go up and find different for me on the internet. They look and they see that the amount of fraud in elections is de minimis, which is beyond a level of action. We just went through this.
Okay, let me ask a question a different way.
Chris,
hang on. Let me ask a question a different way. Let me ask a question a different way. Chris, here's a question. You and I run a nightclub.
Yes.
Okay, it's 21 and over.
Need an ID.
Why?
Because otherwise you can't tell whether they're over 21. And they're worried about the liability.
What about you can't tell whether they're American?
Show me proof.
Listen,
Show me proof.
I get the arguments. I get what the arguments are.
This is no, Chris. This to me is more.
Yes.
No, it's common sense. It's for me to okay.
So why do you think that they don't do it again? Because you think, so you agree with Candace that the reason they don't require ID is because they want a lot of illegal votes and to manipulate the system.
A lot.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
Pause that. And I want to remind everyone who's watching to do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button for more content just like this. I'm doing more reaction videos. I drop shorts just about every single day. Topics on a wide range of issues. I'm sure you're going to find something interesting. We talk about politics, controversial stuff, dating, comedy, hip hop, all types of different conversations on here. We're going to get back into the video, but if it's your first time watching, do me a favor and smash the subscribe button for more content just like this. Okay. Let's get back into the video.
Have just never been able to prove it?
Well, you're racist if you say something.
Of everything Candace said about IDs was for me to be able to get a driver's license, for me to be able to get a drink, for me to be able to do this, for me to be able to do that.
I agree.
For me, it's a different reason on why you need a driver. It's for me to know who the hell you are. It's very different.
I totally get it.
I'm not interested in what, all that stuff that I get to do selfishly because I need the ID to do that. No. When you came in here right now, we have friends we respect a lot, and we respect our guests. Did you guys all come through a metal detective, yes or no? Do you know how many cops and sheriff are around here right now? You know how much we spend on security right now to make sure they're safe?
Again, do you hear how weak this argument is? He's saying that because they had security at their event, that means that you need ID to... Listen, in principle, I agree with this guy. I agree with PBD. I agree with Candace Owens that we should have IDs as a requirement to vote. So how can their arguments be so bad as to make me disagree with them? You're making me disagree with you, man. Come on now. You having security at your job or at your live event. What does that have to do with voting? Listen, you need ID because, like you said, people die. Someone might try to take an extra vote here and there. But I don't think that in-person voting is the main route that people use to steal elections. Now, if you bring up mail-in ballots, all right, now you got me. Now I'm with you. I can rock with you when you bring up mail-in ballots. But you're saying you need ID to show up to a place and someone's going to steal a voter registration card and they do all that for one vote, and then what? They're going to drive from there to another part of town and vote somewhere. I mean, it's just not practical. It's just not practical. Mail-in ballots, okay, I'll give you that. But listen, and I agree with you. I have no problem with requiring IDs for in-person voting. But your defense of the position can't be, I have security at my live event. What does that have to do with voting at all? I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I go off on these tangents, but let's get back into the video.
Safe and nobody can come in here where you're safe as well. Now, we're doing our part. We invest the resources there. Sheriff is very good with us. Cops are very good with us. But did you guys come in here? Did somebody walk you through, find out, verify, checking who you are, what you're doing? We have to do that. We got to go through that process.
I totally get it.
And by the way, this is not 1/1,000,000th of as important as an election, okay?
I agree.
This is just a podcast and a conversation. So for us to sit there and say, the idea isn't that important, brother, you're a very, very, people from your community and others will hear what you have to say, and they may go with that as well. In a country without IDs and without being checked, you're not a country. You're not even a country club. You're not even a village. I don't even know what to call you, but you're definitely not a country.
Again. We're a constitutional republic. That's right. Less than 5% of Americans get that question.
Banana Republic. He said banana republic.
It's also, it's not like they're hiding. When Biden comes
Right.
in, opens the border
Right.
with Mayorkas the rat doing his dirty work. How many in the past 3 years we've had more illegals come into the country than children being born? Okay.
December of last year was more coming in
Yeah.
than children
And
being
this is
born.
where it's that window.
Now that's deep what he's saying, this is where they're. I'm not going to watch the whole thing with you guys. I know we're up until the point where it kind of dies off. We're not there yet because what they're about to go into gets kind of interesting. So this is what I want to bring up with the point that he just made. He says there have been more people who have entered the country than who were born. Now I have not verified that stat. That's what he's saying. I have not verified that stat, to be clear. But just the fact that he can throw that out there with any type of certainty, it makes you think about because the majority of a population's growth should be internal. Is that a controversial statement to say? The majority of a population of a nation should be internal, from internal growth. Is that controversial to say? I don't know. Let me know if that's controversial. You can leave it in the comments section. But the argument that it's even a possibility, that something that needs to be verified, that there are so many, because we know that millions of undocumented illegal immigrants have been crossing the border every year for the past 10, 15 plus years. I don't know. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And one thing I do know is they are changing the demographics of the United States. So-called African Americans, foundational Black Americans, descendants of American slaves. We, at one point, were the largest minority group. We've now been surpassed by the Hispanics. And that's not due to childbirths in America. That's due to immigration influxes. And that has all types of implications on voting. That has all types of implications on society, social, cultural norms, things of that nature. So you answer me this, and anyone in the comment section, feel free. Is it a controversial statement to say that the majority of a country's growth should come from internal growth? Is that controversial? As you ponder that, let's get back into the video.
Well, I understand the proof. The proof is when they're coming in, they're wearing Biden shirts, and being told we're voting for him because they're telling us to. Then Biden they admitted.
Then they'll be easy to catch.
Yeah, well, hold on though. Well, yeah, those four. But think about this. And then Biden, they admitted last week he flew in secretly 320,000 illegals across the country, which to me that's treason.
But it's brilliant, but it's brilliant from the perspective of spread the votes, not just in states you already have control over. You got to spread them other states that you don't have.
All right, two things, and I don't want to lose track of what PBD just said, so I'm going to go back a few seconds here. But I just got a comment. We got to shout out Michael Penn again. Shout out Michael Penn. My boy said, migrants love to be WS. WS is white supremacists. Suspected. We can suspect. Some of them do, man. Some of them do, but not all of them. Not all of them. I'm not here trying to beat up on all the, on all the migrants and stuff. Some of them are cool people, but if you're here illegally, you have not been vetted, and it's more of a danger. It's one thing that Muhammad Ali said, and I just posted this on my video. You can go back and check out some of my shorts, but I posted this video where Muhammad Ali was explaining that, let's say there's 10,000 snakes coming down the aisle towards you, and you have a door that you could close. Now, of that 10,000 snakes, 1,000 mean you no harm. They're good snakes. They want to come give you pets and tickles. But there's some outside of that 1,000 good that mean you harm. Are you better off letting all of these snakes in and saying, hey, the 1,000 good ones, y'all build a wall and protect me? Or is it better to just close the door and keep all 10,000 out? Now, that's something you're going to have to decide for yourself. But as far as I stand, I say build the wall. So, yeah, Mike, I'm not trying to demonize all the migrants. I'm sure there's some good ones out there. And I'm friends with some good ones, from all types of backgrounds. I've been in other countries. I've always gone legally. But yeah, man, I'm not trying to demonize all the migrants. I just say we are safer if we control it, limit it, and make sure that it's legal. That's all I'm saying. Now, PBD made a good point here, and I went back a few seconds, and I'm gonna let him say what he said one more time because it was interesting what he said. Check this out.
Which to me that's treason.
But it's
Some of them are
brilliant,
raping.
but it's brilliant from the perspective of spread the votes, not just in
Yep.
states you already have
Brilliant.
control over. You got to spread them.
I
other
agree.
States.
That's the point I wanted to touch on. He's saying that they're going into the reasoning why. Why is it that the Democrats, or why would any politicians benefit? Key bono, who benefits by allowing an influx of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of illegal migrants into the country? Who benefits? How does that make us stronger, better, safer? The argument has yet to be answered if you don't look at voting. If you look at voting, then you would say, okay, the politicians are doing this in order to control the votes. If you let them in, you give them certain benefits. Like in New York, we give you housing, we give you stipends, we give you debit cards. Who are you going to vote for? The people who are saying, hey, kick them out, or the people saying, hey, come take this debit card? Not only that, but they're spreading them out in the country. Yeah, they might get shipped to Chicago initially, but when that winter hits, they're not going to stay in Chicago. They're going to be taking boats and buses. They're going to be taking flights to other cities. They're going to be looking for warmer weather, and they're going to spread out. Gary, Indiana, Detroit, Michigan, right? Flint, Michigan, all types of places. New Haven, Connecticut. They're going to go. They're going to go. They're going to spread out throughout the nation. Iowa, Utah, Ohio. They're not just going to stay in Chicago. They're going to go to warm places, Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri. They're going to go out and they're going to change the voting dynamics in these other places where they end up settling. One more time for the big Mike Pan, saying having kids internally means that they will replace Americans. No, the part here is that there are less people having kids here internally, and there's more people just coming as an influx who are already born. People who are born elsewhere coming into the country is now outnumbering the people who were already here generationally having kids. So that's what's changing the demographics as far as the migrants. There's so many coming in that they are now changing the demographics because we aren't giving birth fast enough to replace what new ones are coming in. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's get back into this video.
So you don't
I
have
agree, and then
control
think
over
about this
it.
though, Candace, you nailed it. And then if you say anything against them, it's you're racist. These, mind you, and Nancy Pelosi was crying. She was also pissed off on MSNBC, or it might have been, MSNBC. And at the end, she goes, "You know what really pissed me
Rob,
off
can
about
you play
Biden?"
that clip?
Yeah, Rob, if you can.
Go ahead and say it until he
Magic
finds
Rob.
it.
I like that. She was
Phenomenal name, by the way.
She cried because Biden touched her heart, but then she was furious because he called them illegals. She said these are migrants and they're newcomers. It's obvious they're going to be voting.
Let's watch
Rob,
this. Go ahead, Rob. Magic Rob.
Now, you should have said undocumented, but it's not a big thing, okay? What's the big thing about it?
It's a big thing to Vinny.
I actually wasn't even going to ask about that. I was just going to ask more about the moment. But you do think that he should have said undocumented? That wasn't going to be my question.
Well, we usually say undocumented. He said,
and let's just be honest. Because they are, and we all know this.
Let's be honest. That was a Freudian slip. That was a Freudian slip. He's been hearing about these illegal immigrants so much. He ain't supposed to say undocumented, but it was a slip.
They love power so much.
He's getting old, man. It was a slip.
They don't want to lose it. They're willing. Look at all the fentanyl, 120,000 dead Americans each year. All right, more than any war that we've combined. All these wars, children, sex trafficking, all these votes. It's such an open, it's a supply.
Shout out, Mr. Pan. We have too many immigrants. They need to go to other countries such as Canada, Europe, etc. Yeah, man. Listen. What we need to do. I'm less interested in telling other people what they need to do, and more interested in telling us what we need to do. So I'm looking at America because that's part of my government. I have the right to vote and influence the United States. I don't have any influence over the immigrants. The truth be told, they're just looking for a better life, and I don't blame most of them. I don't blame most of them. Listen, they're just looking for a better life for themselves and for their families. I get it, and I don't have any control over what they try to do or where they try to go. What I do have control over is, hey, my government, my politicians, my mayor, I'm in DC, so I don't have a governor, but my mayor, my politicians, my congressman, my president, I want y'all, I'm telling them what they need to do. They need to close and secure this border. Forget where those other people decide to go. That's on them. That's on them to figure out their lives. That's like when people say, they're protesting against police brutality and they say, well, those people need to stop the black on black crime. It's like, well, I can't really control the black on black crime. I can't tell black people what they need to do when they go out in the street and how they need to stay safe and how they need to protect their families. I can't tell individuals on the street what they need to do. But what I can do is tell these police, hey man, if you kill somebody while you're on duty, you don't just get to go home and get paid days off or paid vacation. That's the reason I fight police brutality, because those are the people I can control. Is the serenity prayer. We got to focus on the things we can control and kind of accept the things that we can't, if that makes sense. All right, we're almost done, guys. I'm going to let this go a little bit further. Like I said, we're not going to watch the whole thing here, but I appreciate Mike Penn joining me for the video and everyone else who's been, watching this far. I appreciate everyone who's here checking it out with me. We're going to wrap it up here. Let's watch a little bit more of this, and then we're going to call it.
Live chain, and Chris, you nailed it. Is it cheating, or is it that these are the rules? They don't have no voter ID in all these places. The left is just playing the better game. Is that's what we talked about?
I definitely think there's a game. I definitely think that language and blaming people for being bad if they don't agree is part of the game and really, really effective. It gets used against me on a regular basis. I literally have a monitor of every day whether or not I'm seen as anti-Semitic because I had somebody on who's worried about Gaza, or whether I am pro-Hamas and a terrorist because I'm talking about, what's happening. I get it. This all works very, very well, okay? Pelosi can make whatever point she wants about vocabulary. I don't have any problem not seeing everyone who enters the country illegally the same way. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with the fact that it's not just some brown menace that everybody's being told to be afraid of. You got Russians, you got Chinese, you got a lot of people coming from different countries now in illegally. This is the main.
Sending their best.
This is the main. This is the main. Well, or maybe they are. It took 19 people to bring us to our knees for months in 2001. It doesn't.
All right, now that's a heck of a place to call it, because that's the last point that I want to address. What he just said, they laughed that off. I'm going to play it one more time just in case you didn't catch it. I want to play it one more time just in case you didn't catch it. But what they just said and he just tried to laugh off, that's something that isn't really addressed. We're going to play it one more time. Check this out, and I'm going to come back with closing thoughts.
You got a lot of people coming from different countries now in illegally. This is the
main.
Sending their best. This is the main. This is the main. Well, or maybe they are. It took 19 people to bring us to our knees for months in 2001. It doesn't take a lot of people who are motivated to madness to make a difference. But I'll tell you something. The truth is,
it doesn't take a lot of people motivated to madness to make a difference. Now, they said some interesting things at that closing point. He said they're not sending their best, or maybe they are. Now, there's two ways you can look at this thing. Either we consider the fact that they might be sending their best, and who is they? The way that Chris Cuomo took it was there might be sleeper cells. There might be dangerous agents coming across that southern border, and they might be the best that these foreign adversaries have to offer, meaning you could have China sending people through the southern border who are trained in how to take down the electrical grid. You could have someone from Iran or someone from North Korea coming up through the southern border who's trained in how to sabotage trains and how to start fires and arson and get away with arson. You don't know how these people are trained. They could be the best adversaries who are being sent to this country to sabotage, start fires in Maui, start fires in Texas, start derailed trains in East Palestine. We don't know how all these things are just all of a sudden burning and blowing up and chemical spills for apparently no reason, for zero justification behind why these things are happening. We don't know. I'm not saying that it's sleeper cells. I'm saying it's a possibility and we don't know. That's one possibility. But even granting that the majority of the people who come across the southern border illegally are here as positive people, people who want to work and get a job and start businesses, if they're sending their best, which I believe in many cases they are the best of their, the reason I say that they may be the best of their, from depending, some of them are the best of their communities, and they're just coming here illegally looking for better economic situations, is because as someone who's lived in other countries, one thing I know is it's not easy to do. It's not easy to go to another country where you don't speak the language and you want to meet people and you want to make friends and you want to stay there for an extended period of time, not just on the resort where people speak English and want to sell you stuff. I'm talking about you going down the street, you going to Safeway, you going to the subway, you buying groceries, you taking taxis, you are living there for an extended period of time, years. I've done that, and that is not an easy thing to do. So the people who are able to come here and maintain that life, it's not, those are exceptional people. A lot of them are exceptional. Here's the problem though, is what Mike Penn mentioned earlier. A lot of those people have the mentality that once they come, they are able to look down on the people who live here who are doing worse than them. That's the problem right there. There are a lot of exceptional people who do come across the southern border, who do come from these other countries. They come and migrate into America, and they are very bright. They're very bright, and they exceed in America. Now, there's foundational Black Americans who exceed in America as well, just like the migrants. They're just like the migrants. They are all exceeding. They're exceptional foundational Black Americans, and they're exceptional immigrants. But the immigrants don't look at the exceptional foundational Black people and say, hey, we're both exceptional, we're on the same level. What the immigrants do is they say, I'm exceptional because I'm in America, and they look down on all the normal people who are not exceptional. So, Mike Pan, what you see as saying, migrants love to be white supremacists, it's just a difference in perspective. And I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm not trying to minimize it because it does end up being part of white supremacy. White supremacy big ups it. They promote it. They promote, oh, there's cultural differences, and that's why these groups are better than yours. No. What they're doing is they are looking at the exceptional portion of the immigrants, and they are ignoring the unexceptional, the normal, the people who sitting outside of Home Depot all day looking for a job, the people who are begging outside of Giant all day, the people who don't have a lot of money, have 10 people living in one house. They ignore all of those people and they highlight the exceptional immigrants and say, oh, these exceptional immigrants, that is the immigrant culture, that is the immigrant work ethic. But then when they look at Black people, they see the exceptional Black Americans, but they don't see us as the exception. They look at our normal people. They compare their exceptional to our normals instead of comparing their exceptionals to our exceptionals. Do you see what I'm saying here? That's the problem. That's what they do. And that is the issue with a lot of the mentalities that some of these really hardworking, really intelligent, really exceptional people have. Is they come here and they have a disdain for the normal people. And every country has normal people. Every group, every culture, every ethnicity, there's going to be exceptional people and there's going to be normal people and there's going to be below normal people. That's just the way it is. Anyone who went to school for any portion of time knows there's a bell curve, and some people are going to be above normal, some people are going to be at normal, some people are going to be below. That's just what it is. Most people are normal. Most people are normal. But the exceptional people of their countries, they're leaving. The people who are normal in Venezuela stay in Venezuela. The people who are normal in Ethiopia or Haiti or Mexico, or the people who are normal, they stay where they are. And the people who are exceptional, they come to America. So then those exceptional folks are comparing their exceptional lifestyle and their exceptional mentality to the normal people of America and completely disregard the exceptional people here in America. Just act like they don't even exist. Oh, you're an exceptional foundational Black American? They're gonna look the other way. They don't even see the exceptionality. Exceptional foundational Black Americans all over the place. They act like they're the only ones who are doctors and nurses and lawyers, physical therapists, homeowners. They're not the only ones. We've got exceptional folks too. But we're looked down upon because they look at our lower class and disregard our exceptionals. And they look at their exceptionals and disregard their lower class. All right, I'm going to leave it with that. Let me read some of these last comments from Mike Penn, and then we're going to call it. Mike Penn says the problem is that America's occupied too many countries. Round of applause. Round of I agree, bro. That's the problem, man. And that's what's causing all this influx of immigration is you're destabilizing these other people's countries. They got nowhere to go. They're following the money. Oh, you taking our money? Well, we following the money. They're coming up to us. You're right, Mike. Last comment from Mike says, Americans need to say no immigrants at all. We will close the border for good, and the border agents need to use full force against illegals. I don't want to say no immigration at all, but I would say no illegal immigration. You want to come here, come legally. There's a process. You go through the process. You do your applications, you pay the money. If you can't afford to pay the money, if you have no way of doing the applications, you're not exceptional, buddy. You're not exceptional. You got to be exceptional if you want to come here. That's my perspective. Let the exceptionals win in. If you're exceptional, you can do the paperwork, you can pay the fees, you can pay the fines, you can pay the immigration lawyers. If you can jump through all the loops and dot all the I's and cross all the T's, if you can do what you got to do to make it happen legally, come on, because that means you're exceptional. That means you're ready to come, you're ready to work, you're ready to bring something with you. But if you're just coming trying to swim across, probably not exceptional. You're looking to become exceptional, and I get it, but you got to become that before you can get that, from my perspective. I'm going to close it out with that one. Yo, Mike, I appreciate you for rocking with me on this video, giving me your thoughts and your feedback and all that. I hope I was able to drop a couple jewels on y'all, something for y'all to think about, a perspective that you might not have heard before. Once again, if you've made it this far in the video, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. And if it's your first time watching, you gotta smash the subscribe button for more content just like this. I make videos on all types of topics. I'm telling you, we got hip hop, news, politics, current events, doomsday prepping. Hey man, you like it, I love it. You like it, I love it. We're gonna talk about it, controversial things, and I appreciate everyone who drops the comments. Y'all keep me motivated, y'all keep me involved, y'all keep my energy up, because I'm like, all right, I'm not just here talking to the wall. I can see y'all getting involved. Salute the Mike Penn. I read all my comments, so feel free to drop some of them. I'll give you a shout out and a salute as well. All right, I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.